Assalamu alaikum students. I'm aFTAB hUSSAIN, your English teacher. Welcome to new lesson. Hope to find you in the pink of your health. Let's start today beta. We have some learning outcome before proceeding. Let me tell you. Today the topic would be verb definitely. So I've written some points that you must keep in mind while I'm gonna teach you. I'm gonna explain you these points in detail. So you can listen it attentively and inshallah by the end of the day gonna be very easy for you to understand these one. Let's start the points one by one. By the end of this lesson, students should be able to number one understand what is verb. Okay, so what is the first bit? You should be able to understand what is verb. Secondly, what's the function of a verb? I mean, whenever you come across a sentence, how do you come to know that this is a verb and how does it function? I mean, what does it show? Either it shows some kind of it shows some kind of action or state or whatsoever. Next, coming to now, the third point is no general classification of verbs. Here I'm going to tell you the three types or three general classification that we divide the verb into, and the last but not the least, I'm going to tell you types of verbs. I'm going to tell you different types. I'm going to tell you what are action verbs, what are other type of verb like linking verbs, what are transitive, intransitive verb, what are regular and irregular verbs. Let's start with the definition. Some examples are also there for you, beta. A verb is a word such as sing, feel, or die. So I've told you three verbs here, written only three. Later on, I'm going to explain you others also, like sing, feel, or die, which is used with the subject to say what someone or something does or what happens to them or to give information about them. So, what did you understand from the definition? It means, beta, we're talking about some words that are known as verbs. How or why we call them verb? Because they show some kind of action. I mean, how we use them? We use them with the subject to say what someone or something does or what happens to them. Like there's some examples I've written. Let's talk about the examples. See, he sings very well. So what does he do? Sings. What is sing? Definitely it's a verb. Why beta? Look at the definition again. A verb is a word such as sing, feel, or die, which is used with the subject to say what someone or something does or what happens to them or to give information. Like he sings very well. So what is a he here? Definitely it would be a subject. Here we are not talking about noun pronoun or types of like this. We're just telling about subject. So what is the subject here in the first sentence? That is he. He sings very well. She feels embarrassed. I love to play cricket. The boy laughs loudly. So the words which are highlighted here, beta, are underlined here. They are called what? Definitely, beta. They are known as verbs. Let's talk about the classification of verbs. First beta, verbs referring to action. Verbs referring to action or action verbs are those that involve the movement of one's body in one's way or the other. Like beta, some example of verbs referring to action are as follows. See, all the words which have been written here, they are called verbs, but they are also known as action verbs. Like walk, run, talk, sit, read, write, sleep, jump, sing, etc. So these type of verbs which show some kind of movement, they are called definitely. They are known as action verbs. Let's talk about second bit of verbs referring to feelings. These are the verbs that refer to something that you can feel or experience and do not necessarily involve a movement of any kind. I mean here there is no movement involved. Some examples of verbs are like love, hate, envy, believe, trust, feel, care, sense, cherish, or recognize. Now let's talk about the third, verbs referring to a state or a condition. These verbs are those that refer to situation or the state of being. All forms of to be verbs belong to this category, but some example of verbs referring to a state or condition are as follows. Is, am, are, was, were, has, have, had, or being. So remember, These are called state condition. They show some kind of state.